A lot of people have asked me how I'm handling this year as an Xbox fan or as a, longtime Xbox fan. I'm kind of looking at this year as maybe sort of the last hurrah as an Xbox guy. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to be the year we're getting, we're going to get the big four games, obviously. And, I think that's really cool. We're finally going to get the delivery of promises made. Unfortunate circumstances means that, we're not the only ones getting the games and things, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. It's unfortunate, but it's the way that's going to be. But there was a recent update, pretty interesting. I think, a lot of people are kind of talking about it, and, it's going to be very interesting to hear how other Xbox fans feel about this stuff. But, again, if you have an Xbox, and let's just say you're just an Xbox owner, you're going to be satisfied this year. There's so many great games coming out, and, hopefully we get GTA 6 as well this year, and all the good games that come out that, everybody's kind of wanting and, wanting to see and wanting to play. And that's going to be, I think, really a cool thing, in my opinion. But you guys might feel differently, and I'll always check the comments to kind of see where you guys are at with some of these things. But Phil Spencer actually reveals an Xbox 25 logo. Very interesting, because it's one of those things where these things, the way that they come about is just crazy. But 25 years is crazy. Just think about that. I don't think anybody really expected Xbox to really stick around or do anything this good or whatever. So it's interesting to see how this works out with the Developer Direct Showcase around the corner and the 25th year of Xbox underway. Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer shared a video message to fans. In his message, a version of which I'm going to link in the description, and you guys can check it out. Spencer teased the Xbox will be celebrating this 25th anniversary, quote, all year long, and those celebrations will kick off with a Developer Direct on January 22nd. So he says, hello everyone, I'm Phil Spencer from Xbox. Happy 2026. Almost 25 years ago on November 15th of 2001, the original Xbox launched. It's been an amazing journey. We want to thank you for all being right here with us as we celebrate all year long. We're excited to look ahead and kick off our celebrations with Developer Direct, featuring Fable and Forza Horizon 6 from Playground Games and Game Freak's Beast of Reincarnation. We hope you enjoy going inside the studios and hearing from the game creators themselves. So the video is interesting. You can kind of see a first glimpse of Xbox 25 that we'll be seeing, I guess, a lot over the next 12 months, and it indicates that Microsoft is, obviously going to celebrate the anniversary, or that's the intent. So far, though, just as a longtime Xbox console fan, it's a little bit disappointing, because so far the only things that we've gotten announced so far this year are cloud options on TVs and Xbox exclusives going to PlayStation. Like, I hope they got some things in store for actual Xbox owners, like specifically. I think that would be a kind of a cool thing, because it's gotten to the point where, like, they did sell people hardware this gen and last gen. So at least, do something special for the people that have supported you a long time in the industry. So I don't know. That's just kind of my take on it anyway. But so anyway, it's going to be interesting to see how this is kind of going to work out or whatever. So we'll see with the Direct and see how everything kind of goes and how everything kind of works out. The other thing is, there's sources talking about what they know about the secret Xbox Developer Direct game, because we all know there's always a secret Xbox game at the Directs, which is very interesting. So according to VGC, which I'll link also in the description, they've been told that this is a smaller original game from a first-party studio and not a third-party game as first reported. So there's a first-party game that's going to be shown off. So following the announcement and date of 3 games for the Xbox Developer Direct, obviously people started hearing about a 4th game for the show, and those are always going to be kind of rumors and stuff, because Microsoft always does, like, a secret show and stuff like that. The well-known outlet VGC says it's also heard of a secret 4th game for the Xbox Developer Showcase. It's apparently, quote, a promising indie-sized title from a third-party publisher. According to another insider who has a history of reporting confidential information about upcoming games, the show will feature a secret 4th game. VGC corroborates this and understands the 4th game is a promising title. They originally stated from a third-party publisher, which we now know is a first-party publisher. So nothing further is revealed at the game, But they do mention that also that Fable, which I also mentioned in a previous video, was in development for PS5. That's not to say it'll be a day one launch, although that's kind of trending that way. I know a lot of people are kind of hoping that Xbox games stay a year on the platform, but it's not going to be that way, trust me. The reason why Avowed stayed that way is because that game was already so long in development, was delayed multiple times, they had to get it out the door, and so kind of that's the way that this kind of thing came into fruition. But, you know, it just really kind of comes down to how they're going to handle these things. But there you have it. It's like a very interesting kind of update into what's going on. Like, what are we going to hear from? What are we going to see? It's always going to be, you know, one of those kind of interesting kind of situations where, you know, we're not really sure what these are. But anyway, according to VGC, this is going to stream on Thursday, January 22nd. Now it's claimed the show won't feature just the 3 games, but, you know, again, a secret 4th game. And it's been corroborated that it's going to be from one of Xbox Game Studios' first-party developers. The 4th title will round off an event mainly focused on Xbox's big first-party games planned for 2026. Forza Horizon 6, which announced last year, which will take place in Japan, will be released on Xbox before eventually coming to PlayStation 5. Fable was announced in 2020, although started development as early as 2017 as part of the Xbox Game Showcase. The game, which is a reboot of the Lionhead RPG series, doesn't currently have a release date. It's understood Fable is also in development for PlayStation 5. The Xbox Developer Direct will also include a first in-depth look at Beast of Reincarnation, the new game from Game Freak. Game Freak is undoubtedly best known as a developer of the Pokemon series of RPGs. Game Freak, which was founded as a magazine in 1982 and later reformed as a game developer in 1989, has produced many games outside of Pokemon over the years. While the Pokemon titles are co-productions with Nintendo and the Pokemon Company, Game Freak titles such as Pandoland, Pocket Card Jockey, and Tempo the Badass Elephant are entirely independent. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting things. There's rumors that we might even see like a shadow drop or something coming from Microsoft, which, you know, we always kind of hear about those things, you know, when they do these kind of announcements, which I guess, you know, if you're a Game Pass subscriber, it's something that they announce sort of like that. I think, hey, that's a pretty cool thing. I do think that it's just one of those things that, you know, Microsoft is going to have to kind of deal with. Like, to be honest with you, a surprising update because, you know, as you guys know, Microsoft didn't do an end of the year wrap up for Xbox, and, you know, supposedly one of the reasons was that budget. Not that it could, I don't even understand how a wrap up can be that big of a budget. It's so funny because a website, an independent site, does a wrap up. You know, it's kind of janky, and I don't use it because you have to use your third-party login information and stuff, and I would never do that. But, you know, supposedly it only counts games that you, like, unlocked an achievement for this past year, and so, you know, that kind of makes it less impressive than it is because, you know, obviously if we're gaming maybe a multiplayer game that doesn't have a lot of, let's say you play a lot of Call of Duty online or a lot of Fortnite or something, you don't get a lot of achievements for those games online. So it wouldn't even count those games, you know what I'm saying? So for me anyway, you know, it's just kind of why I don't use that site, but I really wish. It's just kind of funny that site can afford to do one, but Microsoft can't. You know, just kind of crazy the way that these things kind of work out. I do hope that we have a big year though. Like I said, I'm kind of looking at this year as this year of, you know, blowouts for Xbox. It's going to be like a huge blowout, and, you know, it's going to be a game where a situation where we get all these big games, and if you have an Xbox, just treat. Yeah, I mean, I get it. PlayStation's getting our lunch. They're getting all the stuff that we are, which sucks. You know, especially if you're somebody who believed in Xbox from the beginning and kept on believing their, you know, everything that they're saying. You know, it does make it a little bit disheartening, to say the least. But, you know, still, as fans, we're going to have a heck of a year, and I think that's something that we should be excited about. You know, there's going to be a lot of good games. I'm not going to get too into, you know, some of the semantics about it, because it is kind of annoying when you see these same people on, like, X all day tweeting about how great, you know, Xbox are and how they're saving the industry with their games. I mean, they spent $100 million on the biggest publishers in IP and gaming. They should be putting out games. You know, that's the way I kind of feel about it. But people spent a lot of money on their hardware this year with the expectations that haven't been met. So I think that clearly falls on Microsoft as well. Anyway, I would appreciate if you guys let me know what you think. Rack 'em up, Crap Gamer.